What's going on, everybody? My name is Tamar Turner, and I'm the host of the Down to Business podcast, where the mission is to really provide exposure to businesses, entrepreneurs, and artists all around the world in their respective crafts. And we do so through audio and visual interviews where we come on and we talk about all things from getting into the business to most memorable moments to even some advice that you may give for other business owners and entrepreneurs out there. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, we'd love to have you on for an interview. Please be sure to reach out via any social media platform and we'll definitely get back to you. But until then, enjoy this episode. What's going on, everybody? Just want to welcome you back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And man, I'm hyped for this one just because I'm hyped for all my episodes. I think I'll probably say that at the beginning of every intro. I might just need to trademark it like that. But really hyped for this one, not only for the individual, but just because of everything, like the history behind the how I know this person and just everything that she's doing right now and is going to continue to do. So just a little background for everybody out there. This is a fellow, ECU alum, definitely somebody who, when I first kind of came in, really looked up to them, like as a mentor, really somebody who, showed me the ropes through my 4 years at ECU and really just opened up a lot of opportunities for me, got me in the right rooms, and made a lot of connections, and somebody who obviously I still keep in contact with today, somebody who I'm not only very proud of, but excited for, just to, see what the future holds for this young woman and everything that she's going to be doing. So without further ado, I am sitting down with Ebony Robinson. Auntie Eb, however you may know her, definitely very happy. So how you
Yes,
doing today?
I am doing well. Look, we're gonna have to add like some clapping, some crowd cheering in the
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
okay.
when we drop your name. All right. She says she need a grand entrance, y'all. So all right, so we're gonna do
Yes,
something new for the first time.
okay. Thank you, but thank you so much for the introduction. Of course, of course. For real, I always think about the first time I met you and Trey and Dre and just how our friendship started. And I'm so glad I met you guys for real and that I kept in contact. And that's the thing about college. You get to meet great people and you continue on your friendships and continue on that networking. And it's funny that we're having this interview because I remember telling you my idea about Auntie Eb and you were like, Ebony, girl, if you don't do this.
Right. Told me before I even started the podcast.
Right, exactly. Like, girl, what are you even talking about? Yeah, exactly. Do it. No questions about it. No ifs, ands, and buts.
Absolutely. And here we are, years later, things are kicking, things are rolling. So I'm excited. So, people probably are listening. Some people, tapping in already know what you have going on, but may not know all the intricate details. But some people really may be brand new, tapping in for the first time, really not know that you even, have your own business and have different, LLC. Excuse me, have different things going on like that. So for everybody out there, just listening, can you just tell us a little bit, about yourself and then what brings you on the podcast today?
Well, yes, like Tamar said, I am Ebony Robinson. I'm a rep my city to the day I die. I'm a 252 girl, born and raised Greenville, North Carolina. I attended East Carolina University and I got my undergraduate degree in psychology. And then I just graduated from ECU again and got my master's in clinical counseling. And in between that time of getting my bachelor's and master's, I started Auntie Eb's. But I really started Auntie Eb's when I was whew, maybe 9, 10 years old. I remember being on my mom's laptop creating a babysitting flyer. Like I could literally pull it up when Microsoft 2010 was up with the paperclip. I don't know if you remember that, but with the paperclip, I was making flyers for being a babysitter. So I really been manifesting this since I was a little girl. And I think about it, I'm like, dang, I really been wanting to be a tutor working with kids since I was really a little girl. But yeah, I started that yeah, since I was a kid, and I started babysitting in 2012 and I turned it into a business, an LLC in 2019. And that's when I left the hospital after working for them for 7 years. So I made the decision to create Auntie Eb because I was like, you know what? It's time to start working for me. It's time to start, building myself up. It's time to start investing in myself. And I love children. I love being the person that, people can look up to. I like being that big sister, the auntie. Literally, I got my name because I'm an auntie. I can't help it. It's just who I am. So it kind of stuck to me. So that's why it's called Auntie Eb's. And so I offer babysitting services, tutoring services, pet sitting services. So I'm a one-stop shop. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my business.
Got you. And I love that, it's crazy just the perspective that I got from it. Just, meeting you in 2014 and really just being able to see your interest and your loves. Like you said, I knew from the beginning, just from what you did with the Boys and Girls Club in Aid and just from other opportunities that you were able to even bring to BSU and just in even other things that you were involved in with ECU, how they, some way, one way or another, they always, revolved around children or the youth or giving back or helping or things like that. So, but the fact that this even stems before that, before I was even able to, make contact with you and different things like that. That's just amazing. The fact that you said, this started from a flyer. And yes, I definitely do remember the Microsoft with the paperclip. That's a big throwback, but definitely something that I was on. Whenever you had a little question or you had something, you needed some
Right,
help, with the paperclip
exactly.
would definitely pop up, and help you out. So I definitely do remember that. But then you said, okay, so kind of just really started doing your thing, really started kind of moving into that lane in 2012. But really, but finally finalized and became that LLC in 2019. So that 7 year gap from 2012 to 2019, obviously you didn't lose your passion for it. Obviously you didn't lose your interest for it. But what was really kind of going through your mind? Like what was going on? Was Auntie Eb kind of at the forefront of your brain in 2012? Did you know you kind of wanted to start something? When did you kind of really say, okay, hey, I'm going to make this a business. I'm going to LLC it. This is all going to work. Like what was that process kind of leading up to 2019?
Well, in 2012, I was working at Vidant Medical Center. I had got an internship out of high school. Being a 17-year-old girl, my parents were like, you know, working at the hospital. Oh, wow, girl, you got an internship. You're working for the hospital. I mean, it was patient access rep, just really doing customer service, taking people's information, verifying their demographics, really just getting my foot in the door with the professional realm and, being involved in the work. So I really wasn't thinking about starting a business, which is funny because that's all I grew up knowing about was seeing my dad be a businessman and do his side hustles at the same time being, a working man. But he always pushed me to be, my own woman, which was funny because he was like, when I got this job, it was all about, make sure you keep this job, make sure you work hard to, have money in your pocket and you can sustain yourself, yada yada yada. Fast forward through the years, Biden really wasn't the place for me. I knew that I was bigger than that. And I knew that this place really wasn't for me. And so working there, that really just was overwhelming to me. It wasn't for me. I'm telling y'all, if I could sue that place for emotional abuse, woo, I would. But I am thankful for being at that place because that place built me to who I am now, right? It made me appreciate, like, okay, having my own business. It made me push me to say, okay, you know what? This is not for me. I know I need to go get it on my own. I know I need to have something for myself because the world isn't going to take care of me like I'm going to take care of me. And you know how I am. Like, I was a part of Black Student U and I was a part of BSU. I'm for my people. So I'm going to create something, not just for me, but I'm going to create something for my people. And that's really what Auntie Ebs is about. It's about, creating something for children who, are less fortunate or can't really get, tutoring. If you look at Sylvan or mathematics, they're so expensive. I like to provide affordable care, affordable tutoring, all while learning from my kids as well, because I believe in partnership. I believe in learning from other people. It's not just I teach you and I take your money. It's you teach me, I teach you. We're learning from each other. So, yeah, I needed to work there for 7 years because it made me realize, like, that seventh year, it was like that year of completion. Like, okay, you know what? I gave all of my energy and all my time to this other business. Now it's time for me to give my time and energy into my own business.
Amen. And it's just funny that you bring that up just because for everybody listening, like that kind of a lot of people kind of may know your background and your familiarity with Biden and history and everything that you did with that. But me personally, I was kind of just smiling as you were talking, not smiling just because well, smiling more so just because I remember, the late nights that you were having, just having to do things for BSU, for other organizations, to still have to go to class and do different things like that, and then still have to go to VITA afterwards. I remember you, running out of meetings. I remember you, just scattering, not being able to attend certain events because you had to work or leave certain events early because
Right.
you had to work. I remember all of that, and so it's just crazy now just to see that epiphany and what was really going on behind the scenes and what that really, kind of led up to. And it's just like
Right.
you said, you needed that. It was a matter of fact of the experiences that you gained, the connections that you were able to also gain, but the knowledge that you got, and the knowledge just to realize that okay, this is definitely something that I was offered. This is definitely something that I put my all into, a position that I took full advantage of. But I know where my love lies. I know really what my passion is. I
Right.
know really, truly what I want to do. I know what I want to do for the kids, especially starting, in the 252 in Green, in Winterville, in Hayden,
Exactly.
and different places like that, where the youth, really need more. And especially just being I feel like it was destined this way just because ECU is really just growing. I tell people a lot of times that my impression of ECU, like I feel like without East Carolina University, Greenville really wouldn't be the city that it's really becoming. And I've been able to watch it grow from 2014 to now. And it's just amazing, just the trajectory that it was on, just what they were telling us, when we first got there, and
Right.
just all the construction and things. And people were like, it's no way that this is
Yes.
possible. There's no way that this is going to happen. There's no way that, we're going to see this. And now years later, I'm jealous. I'm telling people, I wish I would have came to ECU a little later. I wish I was like class of,
Man, what?
I
Y'all
wish I
don't
could have
even
graduated in
know.
20, yeah, like I wish I could have came in 2018 or something like that when they were getting everything. And just for y'all to really realize what we were going through, what we were seeing at first. So that's amazing. Now, I know that you specifically, it's a lot, when it comes to working with youth, not everybody can do it. Somebody who I really think about a lot when it comes to youth is my uncle. He works as
Mhm.
kind of like a TSS worker with kids with like different disabilities, and kind of he's one of those people that kind of sit in the classroom with you, kind of have to watch just to make sure
Right.
you're doing okay, and then kind of after school and everything like that, they go home with you, they help you out with homework, do different things like that. But something that I always noticed, like growing up, those people really have patience. Those people really, just love it. This is not something that you're just doing for money. This is something that you do just because this is
Right.
ultimately where your heart lies. So, would you say that what was the process like? I know working with kids, working with children, working in the school system is different. It's from certifications to just the rules to just the background checks and everything like that. What would you say that process was like for you, kind of going through everything so that you can officially establish Auntie Eb as an LLC?
Well, I want to make two comments. Like, well, going back to like just ECU, like it's funny that you say that. Like, I've literally grown up with ECU as well. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like I grow up with the kids too. You know, just whew, Greenville has just grown so much. ECU has grown so much. Y'all don't even know the half. Like half of the stuff that was downtown wasn't even there. There's things that I could tell you about you wouldn't even know. And I'm just like, wow, ECU and the Greenville area has grown so much and it's continued to grow. And that's why I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I would be upset with myself because I would be so ready to get out of Greenville. And I'm constantly like, God, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. But that's not what he was trying to tell me to do. I now know that, I got something to do in this area. I have something to do here. I got to stay here. And I think that's kind of what pushed me to be able to be here and do all of those things. Like it wasn't hard to get an LLC. It's not that difficult. You can literally look anything up on Google. The internet is your friend. All you have to do is go onto Google, type in start a LLC and go on the NC Secretary of State or whatever and fill out some paperwork, pay some money, and your business is an LLC. And then you can if you want to trademark your name, it's the same thing. You just pay that fee and register your business that way. Now, if I wanted to, because I'm getting ready to possibly get a building with my business and whatnot, and say I want to hire workers, then for me as a business owner, I would probably want to have background checks, et cetera, and things like that, then, that would be a lot harder process. Now, during COVID and all of that, that was a lot difficult. because I took a step back and I was just like, okay, let me take this time to kind of rest and, get myself together because I am a one woman show right now and just rest and get it together. And that was difficult because I was like, these kids out here need me. And so I was beating myself up. I was like, you can't rest right now, but I can't help anybody if I'm not together. So I was like, okay, it's okay to rest. Sometimes you have to tell yourself it's okay to rest. And yeah, so if you're in the Greenville surrounding areas, or this is for anybody that's doing something in your community in a small town area, like don't stop. Just look up on Google, search engine, the internet, type it in, just start that search, just do it. I promise you there's nothing that you won't be able to figure out or can't do. And there's government assistance. You can get grants. That's currently what I'm working on now. That's probably the hardest thing that I'm working on is grants. Because what I learned during this COVID time is like the government has money, right? The government has a lot of money. And what we don't really know as, African American community is we don't know how to get those resources. So, like I said, me, like that's what I'm about. I'm about teaching. I'm about learning those resources and teaching it to my community. So it's really just learning the information and knowing the information, where to find it. So that's the biggest thing is where to find the information and how to get to it. But once you find it and once you know what to do, it's really nothing to get the ball rolling.
It's all about the give back. It's all
Right.
about just each one teach one. I tell people all the time that I would much rather eat with my circle than eat by myself, because when I bring my
Right.
circle into it, they can bring on different things, and that actually kind of just made me think about I can plug you in with my profile, Breon. He has his own corporation, or he has his own nonprofit and everything like that. He's getting into that space, but he also knows about the grants and he has some books on it and things like that. So I'm gonna definitely tap y'all in once we get done with the interview. But I love that the fact that sometimes it takes whenever you're taking a step on your own, whenever you're kind of branching off into a new space, and you don't always have those connections. Everybody may not know about an LLC. Everybody in your circle may not
Right.
have an LLC. Everybody may not know that process. But that's not to stop you from taking matters into your own hands. Like you said, Google is free. It's a great resource. It's
Okay.
a resource that so many people, between Google and YouTube, so many people have talked about that, being business owners, being entrepreneurs, not knowing where to start, but getting some inspiration, getting some knowledge from there, saying, hey, without these two free resources, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I definitely do encourage people always just utilize your resources and then ask questions from there. Do the necessary research and knowledge first, but don't, just get flustered, don't get frustrated, don't want to back out of things, when they're not going your way, or when you necessarily aren't plugged in to everything the way that you want to. And something else that you really talked about was being in a smaller community, starting things, off really from scratch, building that from foundation from the ground up. Not everybody is fortunate enough to be in these major cities and get their start and kind of sometimes be one hit wonders or have great success overnight. Sometimes you really have to start building from the ground.
Right.
And like you said, you see a different perspective of it because you grew up here. You grew up so even my perspective, you still see before that, because like I said, it was crazy just to see it grow from 2014 to now. You've seen it pretty
Right.
much grow from all your life till now. And so
Exactly.
it's just like you've seen, like you said, you've seen things that you didn't even realize could happen, that were possible. You've seen things come and go, things like that. So that kind of also makes me think too. So now with you starting, in a smaller city, in a smaller community, what has it really been like having to build up Auntie Eb from the ground up? What has it really been like? I already know you have the connections with the Boys and Girls Club, with ECU, with Vidant and things like that. But at the end of the day, I also know that you still have to put in the work. You still have to put in the time. You still have to put in that effort and
Right.
really just love it. So what has that process, been like, really telling people about your business, really getting it established and really trying to do things in the local community?
It's really, 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 really making me like push myself. I was just talking to someone and I was like, my dad, he was always like, I would be like, I'm about to, I'm a da 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 da. He was like, it ain't no about to, it's I'm going to, I'm doing, I'm this, I'm that, making it an action verb. So I'm starting to tell myself, like, like, girl, it's time to start get the ball rolling. Like, stop doubting yourself, that self doubt, that self motivation. Somebody was telling me I can go to work for 8 hours, but then I put all that time and effort into work, but don't come home and put that time and effort into building my own dreams. And that really made me think. And I was like, you know what? You were so right. I'm sitting here putting in all this time and effort into other people and to building up their business. And I'm not even building up my own business. I took that year off. I took that time for myself. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to really get back in the grind mode because it's some things that I really want to do. And like I said, I just graduated from ECU with my master's in clinical counseling, and I'm big on mental health. Like that's one of the things that I want to implement in Auntie Eb's, which I've already been doing anyway. I just now have like my degree to back it up. So it's like, okay, it's grind time. That's kind of where I'm at now. It's grind mode. You already know it's like one of the things like, okay, all right, girl, it's grind mode. And like when you call me, like you said, it was like I just been waiting on opportunities because I've been talking to God. I was like, I want to get myself out there more. There's things that I want to do. And it's like, if I'm not putting in that energy and that time and effort, like, cause it's easy to just sit back and relax. Sometimes it's hard to push yourself and say, okay, I got to make myself do this. I gotta put in that extra time. I got to put in that extra effort, you know? So that's really where I'm at. I'm trying to make sure I push myself. I'm trying to make sure I give myself, you know, the extras that I need to keep moving forward.
That ain't the truth. Once that grind, like you said, once that mindset just kicks in, or once, sometimes it takes an epiphany, sometimes it takes a moment, sometimes it takes a lesson for us to really, take a step back, redraw the game plan, get everything together, huddle back up, and really say, okay, this is the play we about to run. Let's grind it out. And I think but once you get into that mind frame, once you get into that mode, it's really no looking back. It's really
Right.
all money in. Like it's just crazy, But I think it takes that experience. It takes that's really just the beauty of life to me. The beauty of progress. The beauty of anything. The beauty of the journey. The beauty of like you. The fact that you're gonna wake up and have good days. The fact that you're gonna wake up and have bad days. To me, it would be boring if everything was just
Right.
successful. If yeah, granted, nobody wants to fail. Granted, nobody wants to take an L. Nobody wants to be broke. Nobody
Exactly.
not doesn't want to be in touch, spiritually and different things like that. But it takes those life events. It takes different things like that. It takes us being put in a different state of mind in order for us to alter, in order for us to want better for ourselves, in order for
Right.
us to move forward and progress from it. So that even like you said earlier in the interview, you kind of talked about affordability. You kind of talked about really just being for the youth, really being for the children, not being in business for the income, but more so just the impact. So with so many, resources out here, like you talked about the Sylvans, we can even talk about, the Rosetta Stones, I could go on for days about just different tutoring services, different products, that offer help to people. With you and with what you want to do and with the stigma that you kind of want to change around education, everything like that, what has it really been like, trying to differentiate yourself, if you even really want to use that word? Because it could just be a matter of, you're just being yourself. You're not trying to do anything. You're not trying to compare yourself to anyone. But what has it really been like with you already kind of knowing the market, with you already knowing what companies and what businesses are out here doing what they're doing, but you know what you offer and you know that your service is, top notch, top of the line. What has that really been like putting yourself out there like that?
I remember listening to Quan Jay's interview, and he was saying like how he looks at, other clothing brands and kind of just, you know, not copies them, but gets inspirations or whatever, and you kind of have to do that. Like you have to look at certain businesses and see how they run and how they stay in business, right? Because if you don't, you're gonna your business is going to fail. So I look at those big corporations and I look at them and I see how they stay in business, like as far as like when it's time for me to start putting Auntie Ebs in different cities and, having different buildings and things like that, I'm looking at, okay, I know I have to have an accountant. I know I have to have a lawyer. I know I have to have a contract. I know I have to have a mission statement. I know I have to have certain things like that for the future. But for right now, I look at, okay, I gotta build up my community, and I don't think that's what the other corporations have. They don't have that personal touch like Auntie Eb have. You know what I'm saying? I'm a family person, I know all of my families personally. I can go into their house right now and go into their cupboard and get a snack if I want to. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how close we are. I can go and pick up their kids or whatever because, I can go to their family events and that because that's I'm personable, and that's when I start getting more employees. That's how I want it to be. I want us to be a family because that's what Auntie Ebs is. It's Auntie Ebs Family Services. It's not just Auntie Ebs. It's a family services facility. yeah, that's what I look at. I'm trying to be personable. I want my families to know that I am here with them, not here to just take their money. I'm not just here to, okay, help your kid out. Like we do assessments. I'm from the first time we sit down, okay, now where we at the mid semester, now where we at the end of the semester, we look at your growth and your progress and things like that. So I'm also personal, but I'm also professional. So I think that's the biggest thing. I'm personal and professional at the same time. So I put those two things together and it's a win-win situation. And I'm big on, like, giving me feedback. If there's something that I'm not doing well, or there's something that I'm not helping your child well with, then okay, let's talk about it. Because look, everybody learns differently, right? You have visual learners, you have auditory learners, you have textile learners. There's so many different type of learning. That's why I said earlier in the interview, like, it's a partnership. Your children can teach me. I learn from my families. They learn from me, you know. And I think that's the biggest thing. I like to be personal. I like to be there with my family so they know, like, oh, okay, she's really here trying to help us. She really wants to see my family succeed. And I feel like, especially when you're working with minority communities, they miss that. When you go to those other, tutoring businesses, they don't necessarily always do that.
Man, I was in here stomping, shout, whatever you want to say. You just dropped the gems. Like that's just I love that, man. I just man that just lit a fire under me, something crazy. She said, I don't really think y'all heard what she said. She said she can go into the cupboard and get a
Okay.
snack at the family's house. Kaplan not doing that. She said Pearson not doing that. She said Chegg not doing
Okay.
that. She said Rosetta
Look,
Stone.
look. Y'all want to know the best part of working with families and babysitting?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's the snacks, y'all.
It's the snack.
Families always gonna have snacks. Okay, the fruit roll-ups, the chips. That's why I can't lose weight right there. That's why. Ah.
I love that. I love that. She says the snacks for me, y'all. But no, that really, it just goes to speak volumes just about people and really what they do. And I think that goes whenever you're stepping into a field, whenever you're, just stepping out on your own, taking a leap of faith. I think you need that. I think that personable trait will take people so far. And it's amazing that I've heard so many different business owners, so many different entrepreneurs, so many different artists come on here and talk about that. Just come on here and talk about how, when you deal with them, when you book them or when you deal with their products and services or things like that, that you're going to get an experience like any other. And I think that is so important. It keeps people coming back, whether it doesn't really matter how much money they spend with you, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And
Right.
first impression could lead you to more clientele, to different connections, to networking, to travel, and to the possibilities are endless, to sponsorships, to, anything. So the fact that, you adopt that now early on, when you take off and when you at the top, man, it's on who is Kaplan, who is Pearson, who is Chet. This
Okay.
about all these big companies. Like she said, we're gonna be getting snacks on snacks on snacks. So now I definitely do, love to hear that. Not only you, not only for the families, but just for the future. So just in thinking about, everything that you've accomplished since becoming an LLC, even before becoming an LLC. Just in thinking about everything that you want to accomplish, everything that you kind of have on the horizon. We're about halfway through 2021 now. Yeah, we're in June. So would you say that there's anything on the forefront, on the horizon that Auntie Eb is looking to do, maybe before the closeout of the year, maybe by the closeout of the year, maybe looking to even debut in 2022 without giving us too much?
Of course, yes. Auntie Eb is definitely trying to come back bigger and better. She is looking to bring out some merch. Okay, so look out for that. She's looking to have an online store. She's just looking to kind of like come back on a rebrand. Like, she's wanting to do more things in the community because, like I said, I want to do more things. Like last year, I had a back to school drive, and that was so awesome. I had so many people donate to me. I had leftover things that I just was able to get rid of. So I thank everyone who was able to donate. If you're listening, I thank you, thank you, thank you. I am looking to hire a graphic designer, social media campaign marketer, etc. So if you're looking, hit your girl up, okay? Tamar has all of my contact information because your girl is looking, okay? She's going to come with a website, a lot of things. Auntie Eb has a lot of things, investing, all of that. all of that.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I do have the contact info, but as far as the jobs go, that social media one, I might have to take that. So I can't give y'all everything. I do try to provide my listeners with a lot of opportunities, a lot of different gyms and stuff. But that one, your boy might have to get right with that one. But no, on a serious note, I love to hear that. It's all about growth. It's all about expansion. But I definitely do want to also encourage all of my listeners, whether you're new, returning, whatever the case may be, whether you came from Ebony's side, tap in with her. Tap in with everything that she's doing. You can definitely be of help to the youth. Trust me, as somebody who worked firsthand with these children on a weekly basis, it's just something about the kids, man. You could literally be having a terrible day, failed a test, something got canceled, lost some money, didn't get paid this week, lost an intramural, whatever the case may be. You see those kids, they start making jokes. Y'all just start getting around each other. I promise you, your day is going to turn around. It's going to brighten up because kids are honest, brutally honest. I think
Okay.
sometimes they're a little too honest. They really just gonna let you know what's going on. So no, but it was really just a pleasure every day going with BSU, even sometimes volunteering on my own, just being able to work with these organizations. But it's even more amazing just to see, Ebony pioneering things like this. Ebony wanting to get people involved, not only because this is where she comes from and this is what she wants to do for her community, but just because she recognizes that it's a love shared by a lot of different people. So I definitely do encourage everybody out there to continue to tap in with her. So before we wrap things up, officially, is there anything out there you feel like we haven't touched on in regards to Auntie Ebs, in regards to you, in regards to, the youth and what you're trying to accomplish and anything in the local community?
No, I think that we touched on a lot of things. This is coming from your friendly neighborhood therapist. You know what I'm saying? I really touch a lot on my mental health side, but everybody, remember to be kind to yourself, take care of yourself. You're doing your best. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever you got going on, just you doing your best. You got it. Always take care of yourself. Self-care is a big thing. Like one of the biggest things that I have started to implement for myself is like every month I try to at least do like a facial or a massage, and that has really, really helped my mental health over the last 6 months. And I have noticed like, a major difference in that. And I can tell like, if it's coming close to the month and that the end of the month, and if I haven't had like a facial or a massage, I can tell my body can tell that. It's like, ooh, girl, you need to, relax. You need to release that tension. You got to do something. So I'm trying to implement things that, make me happy, that bring me peace and, joy. So everyone take care of yourself, love yourself, and be kind to yourself.
A message that will never get old, no matter how many times it's
Okay.
reiterated, and it's just so true. Appreciate the small things. Be proud of yourself. While yes, you can definitely
Exactly.
be your biggest critic and everything like that, it's important to also pat yourself on the back sometimes. Recognize that you're
Exactly.
out here achieving things. You're out here doing it. This is hard. Like I really saw a post the other day that it literally said, "Look, you're doing great. This is just hard right
Right.
now." And I could really just sit back and like, yeah, I laughed at it, but this is really hard. Like the time that this is something we've never, experienced before, had to go through. So it's a crazy adjustment. So to everybody out there, yo, most definitely, I echo that 100%. So Ebony, for everybody out there listening, I definitely know you swayed some people today. I know some people are definitely, interested if whether they have children or not, but also interested, just getting involved with the community in any way, whether it just be being a part of the back to school drive, donating to you, or getting you plugged in with anybody, connections that they may have. Can you just tell everybody where they can find you if they wanted to tap in with you on like social media and the
Yes,
websites and
yes,
stuff things?
yes. Please, please follow me. I have a Instagram page. It is Auntie Ebs, AUNTIEB on Instagram, or you can follow my personal page at adore my underscore heart, or you can do at Auntie Eb on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook at Auntie Eb Family Services. And I also have an email if you need to email me. Like I offer tutoring services. So I offer tutoring services, telehealth online, and that's from kindergarten up to GED services, some college classes, and some high school classes as well, like some high school math classes up to like algebra 1 or 2. Calculus is a little bit advanced. I can do that, but it just depends on the material. So if you would like to get in contact with me, you can email me at auntieb llc@gmail.com, AUNTIEEBLLC @gmail.com, or you can contact me by phone at 252 917-4674.
All right now, drop the digits for y'all. Y'all better save it. Y'all better
Okay.
reach out, shoot the text, shoot the email. Do what you got to do. But no, I definitely want to continue to encourage everybody. If you know her, if you don't know her, if something stood out to you today, if you are even in North Carolina, just tap in, just
Mm-hmm.
reach out. Let's really just make this happen. Let's continue to
Mm-hmm.
elevate one another, get better, do what we have to do for one
Yes.
another.
In or out of North Carolina, because like I said, I do offer online services as well. So you don't even have to be in North Carolina.
It's even better. I gotta tap in and I gotta make sure, I'm helping out in all my ways that I can. I'm gonna tap Trey in, tap Dre in, for sure, for sure. But as somebody
Exactly.
who has watched you, grow, as somebody who owes a lot of, where I am today and what I've accomplished to you, as somebody who is proud, as somebody who is looking forward to and excited for the future. I just thank you. I thank you for coming on here. I thank you for sharing the space with me and my listeners. I thank you for plugging us in. I thank you for even offering us, a new perspective, a new incentive to, want to tap in with you, to want to really take care of the youth, to want to give back to the community. I thank you for that wholeheartedly, and I wish you, the best of luck with with moving forward, with the merchandise, with the other assets and services that you're going to continue to offer, and just the knowledge that you continue to accrue. I'm excited for it. I love it, and I'm definitely glad that we was able to. Because Ebony was ducking me, y'all. I felt like she didn't.
No, I was not ducking me. Look, y'all. Honestly, Tamar, thank you. I'm really honored to be on the Down to Business podcast. Okay. I get to finally be on a t-shirt, y'all. Okay. So when the t-shirt drop, okay, I am excited. No, seriously though, thank you. It's so exciting, y'all, to just be a part of like your friends' businesses and growth. So, it's mutual. I understand. Mutual respect. I appreciate it. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your space and a part of your business. So, look, this is what we do. It ain't nothing but a thing. It's all the same. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Of course.
Absolutely. One step at a time, one vision at a time, man. So, to everybody out there, to Ebony, I thank y'all. I love y'all so much. Just, continue to tap in. What is continue to shop? What is continue to,
Yes,
send us
tap
suggestions,
in.
send us feedbacks, all of that. So, to my listeners, man, thank y'all. Like I said, it's coming crazy. I keep telling y'all, I keep previewing it. I really think we got to get crazy for the podcast. I
Baby.
don't know exactly what we're going to
Yeah.
do yet, but, we got to make something happen. So, to everybody out there, to Ebony, thank you again wholeheartedly. I do appreciate tapping in. This has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.